This video, we're going to talk about how to solve quadratic equations by factoring. We should have talked about a lot of these factoring techniques before, but we'll go over them again. One of the factoring techniques that we're going to talk about is factoring out the greatest common factor. Another one we're going to use here is going to be a difference of two squares. A squared minus b squared is going to equal to a plus b times a minus b. I think we might get into a sum or difference of cubes. Not right away, but I'll write that as a reminder for us on how to take care of that. So a cubed minus b cubed is a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared, and a cubed plus b cubed is a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. Those are some of your main factoring techniques. I'll talk about how to deal with the trinomials when we get to them. It matters a whole lot whether the leading coefficient is 1 or a number other than 1 when we get to those. So, all right. Let's go ahead and do these problems that are like those from 16.1, numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. I'm going to start off with k squared minus 144 is equal to 0. This is one of those difference of squares situations that I was talking about. It does tell us to solve by factoring, so that's why I'm not adding 144 to both sides and using the square root property that we may have used before. So I'm going to set each factor equal to 0. Subtract 12 from both sides. Add 12 to both sides here. And the reason I really like this as a tutor is that you're not going to forget an answer. You're not going to forget your plus or minus sign with your square root property. You're going to get two factors. You're going to know that there's two answers, and you're going to see both answers here. And you're going to remember to write down both answers in the answer to your problem. So lots of times in my labs, when you are writing your answer, there's a box that says k equals something like this, and you want to write your answers separated by commas like so. So right, that was the first problem. Let's go ahead and move on to the next problem here, which is a greatest common factor problem. M squared plus m is equal to 12. Actually, it's not. It's going to be subtract 12 from both sides, because whenever we have a quadratic equation, we want to get it set equal to 0 here. So going to factor this trinomial. The leading coefficient is 1, so we know the only way to get m squared is m and m. We need factors that multiply to give us a negative, so we need a positive and a negative here. Numbers that multiply to give me negative 12 and add to give me a positive 1 are going to be a positive 4 and a negative 3. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. 4 plus negative 3 is a positive 1. We're going to set each factor equal to 0. And solve. And you're going to write your answer in my math lab with comma separated like that. Okay. Look at our next problem. Notice that in all these examples, we've had a second degree polynomial, and we've had two answers to it, two solutions to it. Now we have 2x squared minus 18 is equal to 0. So let's factor out that greatest common factor of 2. And then let's factor this difference of squares. I can divide by the non-zero constant here and get an equation that's just as true, that says that these are the only parts that can give me 0. 2 can't ever be 0, so I'm not worried about that. And I'm going to set each factor equal to 0. And solve. And you're going to write your answers as comma separated like that. And we got 2 more problems to go through in this video. For a squared minus 4 equals 0. So again, we're going to factor out that greatest common factor of 4. And then we're going to look at what's left, and that is a difference of squares. And we're going to divide by that non-zero coefficient out front that doesn't change the answers. A plus 1 equals 0, or a minus 1 equals 0. A equals a negative 1, or a equals 1. All right. And then last problem for this video is going to be x squared plus 8x is equal to a negative 15. So we're going to add 15 to both sides to get our trinomial here, x squared plus 8x plus 15 equal to 0. We're going to factor that into 2 binomials. X times x gives us x squared. We want same sign, both positive. Numbers that multiply to give me 15 and add to give me 8 are 3 and 5. So x plus 3 equals 0, or x plus 5 equals 0. Subtract 3 from both sides. Subtract 5 from both sides. So x equals negative 3, comma negative 5, or if you prefer them to be in ascending order, negative 5 and negative 3 really doesn't matter. Usually MyLabs doesn't care which order you write your answers in, as long as you have the correct answers. All right, that's it for this video where we solved by factoring. Next time we will come back and do some problems where we are going to solve using the square root property. And remember that when we use the square root property, we still need to get 2 answers, just like we did with this factoring technique. So I'll see you for the next video.